Hi guys, so this video, well, where do I start? This video isn't the video that I kind of wanted to show, as obviously something went wrong with what I was building. Many of you will be aware of what went wrong if you're one of my patrons, or if you follow my community posts on YouTube. Yeah, you'll see that, well, I had a bit of a resin or epoxy resin disaster. And as you can see from this block of epoxy resin that I've got in my hand with, well, the figure you can't quite sort of make out is actually it's kind of like an orc Hulk. Yeah, and unfortunately I was really pleased with how I painted him and how he came out and all the rest of it. But obviously the epoxy resin had other ideas and basically kind of melted the surround it was in, and yeah, made a right old mess on my desk. Anyway, to sort of show how I got to this stage, we need to go back a few days to kind of where it all began, I guess. So it started with me turning on my Anycubic Viper 3D printer. Yeah, doing the usual sort of things, heating the old filaments up, and then going and looking for what I want to print. And obviously, say in this case, yeah, it's a nice Hulk-looking orc, just 'cause he's nice and beefy. I downloaded him from good old Thingiverse, and then took him into Cura. Just so I could do the old slicing bit, get him all ready for the 3D printer. I put some supports on him just to get him all ready, and yeah, send him off to the printer. So this chap took about 5.5 hours, I think, to actually finish printing. I am still messing about with the settings, as at the moment I'm generally having the settings on quite low, but for faster sort of prints, just to sort of see the quality really. Obviously this does have far higher settings than what I'm putting it on, but again, yeah, I'll just try and error and just see what works best for me, as I don't really need to spend like 20 hours on getting a super fine finish if that's not what I kind of need for the end result. So yeah, but I am pretty pleased with how this dude came out. Again, obviously you can see the lines on him, but say this was printed very low res, but I just love how he looks, the bulkiness of him. And obviously say I'm in love with the 3D printer because I can print things out to the exact scale, size, look of what I want. I have been looking at 3D printing software just so I can obviously have a go at getting some files and then manipulating them and changing them to exactly what I need, which I can't wait to be able to do. So yeah, loving him. The print lines certainly become less noticeable once he's primed. And obviously once I get some paint on this dude as well, yeah, you'll definitely be able to see less and less of those print lines. So I recently bought this paint online, and yeah, like many things you can buy online, they're smaller than you kind of thought. So this paint doesn't actually fit in my little sprue paint pot holder. It's a bit of a pain, plus it goes to show how expensive some of these paints are, because this little pot was around about £4 or £5. So it's the normal price of a sort of like Citadel paint pot, and yet it's a lot smaller, and then even when you open the thing up, only about half of it is actually full. So yeah, I'm definitely not going to be buying any more Citadel paints, and I've even gone out and bought some oil paints so I can start making my own washes, just because obviously they're rather expensive too. So as you can see, I've obviously got some more bits and pieces here that I have 3D printed out, and I'm going to use this bottle as the kind of like surround for the epoxy resin, but as you will later see, this choice of thing to use isn't quite right, because it's obviously far too thin and certainly not heat resistant. But hey ho, we live, we learn, and hopefully we correct our mistakes in later versions. So obviously the plan here was obviously to glue this to the plastic at the bottom, just to make a nice seal there, so when I do pour in the epoxy resin it doesn't obviously leak out, which it kind of doesn't, but obviously as you'll see later on, that doesn't really matter. This bit of glue is probably the only bit that was strong and secure. So while that is sort of setting, I'll then just do a bit of dry brushing on the other few pieces, and I'll also take this moment just to thank all my patrons for helping support the channel. It really does mean a lot, because obviously it means I can continue to buy bits and pieces to keep making videos. Yeah, obviously sometimes they go well, the videos, and sometimes they don't. But either way, thanks so much for my patrons for helping support my channel, as it does mean a lot to me as I can continue to sort of buy more and more pieces. So So yeah, so a bit of light dry brushing. I mean, I love dry brushing. I just think it's a great effect. It's nice and quick, simple, and yeah, no fuss, no mess, and all that kind of good stuff. I'm really loving how this orc looks. Yeah, obviously muscle bound, something rotten. But yeah, as I'm obviously making some like these cryo tubes where I'm obviously like capturing beasts from all over the universe. Obviously I'm going to have him restrained inside the little cryo chamber. And I'm just using the small little sort of like link chain thing that I've got. Wrapping that around a few times. And yeah, that'll sort of keep him in place in this cryo tube. So my plan is to obviously kind of make a variety of these tubes with all kinds of creatures, people, beings, all kinds of things really. So that's my plan anyway. As you would have seen from my last video, I have brought lots of the epoxy resin. As I say, it is my plan to sort of make quite a few of these kind of builds. The cryo tubes and just a few epoxy resins or builds in general really. So if you've got any ideas of what you'd like me to build with this stuff, yeah, leave it in the descriptions guys, as I'd like to sort of see what ideas you have and what you want me to make. As you can see, I'm not wearing any gloves, but that's because I don't generally spill this stuff. Obviously if you are messy and clumsy, then yeah, definitely wear gloves because you don't really want to get this on your skin. But as I say, I don't obviously plan to get it on me, so I'm not wearing the gloves. And then pour in from a great height, get a nice thin stream, less air bubbles. I did film some more of this, but unfortunately somehow the other bit of footage hasn't come out, because I do generally obviously tap the thing quite a bit just to make sure there are no air bubbles. The plan here was to obviously leave it for about 12 hours so it'd be fully cured. But little known to me, it was sitting right beside me and basically it dissolved, melted, because obviously the two components heat up. Chemical reaction, they heat up and then obviously they harden. But whilst it was heating up, it actually melted the surround and then oozed out everywhere. Luckily it was on this rather large bit of plastic, so that took most of the brunt of it, but quite a lot did actually go over my desk. Yeah, to say I was gutted, a bit of an understatement, as obviously I loved the orc, the painting was cool, I enjoyed the painting, and yeah, basically he was going to look good. And then once it had cured, it would have been a case of just assembling all the bits and pieces. And yeah, he would have been the first guy in my cryo chambers in my little sort of mini series of them. But alas, that all went a bit pear-shaped. So when I posted the photos on the community tab on my YouTube channel, obviously a lot of you guys wanted to see how it went wrong and obviously why it went wrong, as well as giving me obviously good ideas of what I could do with this thing. As in, I could turn it into some sort of ice sort of sculpture and make obviously snow effects and bits and pieces around it. So that's what I might do. I'm going to actually keep hold of the block. I'm not going to bin it like I was originally going to do. As quite a few of you guys obviously suggested making sort of like a snowy ice scene. So yeah, so that is what I'm going to be doing. And yeah, obviously you've given me quite a lot of good ideas of other bits and pieces to do to obviously improve on my next ones. And I have now since brought some silicone moulds that you'd use for like candle making. So obviously these moulds are sturdy, strong and heat resistant, and I will be using them in a video coming soon. So I did try the process I've just done, making the same sort of figure, although I'd change him into King Shark from Suicide Squad, and then my plan was to obviously do it in a few pours. So rather than pouring one whole lot and obviously heating up and melting the thing, I'm going to have a go at pouring it in 3 stages. So that video will actually be coming out on Saturday guys, so keep an eye out for that to see yeah, to see what happens in that one. Okay guys, thanks a lot for watching. It's a shame this didn't quite work out how I wanted it to, but I thought it was worth showing you. Obviously sometimes things do go wrong, how they go wrong, and then hopefully we all learn from it and yeah, we don't make the same mistake again. If you're new here guys, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell. I do produce videos every week, sometimes 1 or 2 in a week. Yeah, hit the like button as well guys, and leave some comments. They help me out as a channel, and it's always nice to see what you guys think of what I'm building and what you'd like me to build for the next time. So yeah, cheers guys, you guys take care, bye for now.